Sometimes in the NBA, the decisions you make in the summer come back to haunt you in ways you could never imagine. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, your number one source for all the latest breaking news, insider rumors, and comprehensive analysis on our beloved Los Angeles Lakers. Today, I've got a story that involves one of the greatest shooters in basketball history. A decision that seemed logical at the time, and an ironic twist of fate that has everyone in the league talking. This is about what could have been, what almost happened, and how the Lakers' current success makes one particular free agency decision look completely different in hindsight. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why this summer's free agency period will be remembered as one of the most fascinating what-if scenarios in recent Lakers history. Let me take you back to the summer of 2024. The NBA free agency market was heating up, and one of the most coveted names available was Klay Thompson. Now, if you know anything about basketball, you know that Klay Thompson isn't just any player. We're talking about a 5-time NBA All-Star, a 4-time NBA champion, one half of the greatest shooting backcourt in history, alongside Stephen Curry, and a player who redefined what it means to get hot from beyond the arc. Thompson's resume speaks for itself. A member of the 75 greatest players in NBA history. A guy who once scored 60 points in 29 minutes, who dropped 37 points in a single quarter, who hit 14 three-pointers in a game. This is elite, Hall of Fame level talent we're discussing. But by the summer of 2024, Thompson's situation with the Golden State Warriors had become complicated. After spending his entire career in the Bay Area, after building a dynasty alongside Curry and Draymond Green, after suffering through devastating injuries, including a torn ACL and a torn Achilles, Thompson found himself at a crossroads. The Warriors were no longer the dominant force they once were, and there were whispers about his role potentially changing, about him possibly coming off the bench, about the franchise moving in a different direction. For a player of Thompson's caliber and pride, these conversations had to be difficult to navigate. Enter the Los Angeles Lakers, a franchise desperately in need of exactly what Klay Thompson provides. Let's break down what the Lakers were looking for at that time. We needed three-point shooting that was obvious to anyone watching our playoff struggles. We needed perimeter defense, someone who could guard the elite wings and guards in the Western Conference. We needed veteran leadership, someone who understood what it takes to win at the highest level. And perhaps most importantly, we needed someone who could fit seamlessly alongside our core players and elevate the team without needing the ball in their hands constantly. Klay Thompson checked every single one of those boxes. But there was something else that made the Lakers-Thompson connection feel almost destined to happen. Thompson's father, Michael Thompson, is Lakers royalty. The elder Thompson won 2 NBA championships with the Showtime Lakers in the 80s, playing alongside Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. To this day, Michael Thompson serves as the team's radio color commentator, calling every Lakers game with passion and insight. The family connection to the franchise ran deep, and many assumed that would play a significant role in Klay's decision-making process. Imagine the storyline. Klay Thompson following in his father's footsteps, wearing the purple and gold, competing for championships in the same building where his dad hoisted trophies decades earlier. It was a narrative that wrote itself. The Lakers made their pitch. They understood the magnitude of what adding Thompson could mean for this franchise. They put together a compelling offer, one that demonstrated their commitment to building a championship contender around their core. According to reports that have since emerged, the Lakers discussed a 4-year, $80 million deal with Thompson. Let me repeat that because it's important. 4 years, $80 million. That's an average of $20 million per season, with the security of an extra year compared to what other teams were offering. And here's where it gets interesting. If the Warriors had cooperated in a sign-and-trade scenario, that deal would have been finalized, and Klay Thompson would be wearing a Lakers uniform right now. But Thompson made a different choice. He decided to sign with the Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, $50 million contract. Now, on the surface, this decision made sense from a competitive standpoint. The Mavericks were coming off an NBA Finals appearance. They had just pushed the Boston Celtics to the limit, and they boasted one of the most dynamic duos in the league with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. For Thompson, who at 35 years old understood that his championship window was closing, the opportunity to play alongside 2 superstars in their prime must have been incredibly appealing. The vision was clear. Thompson would provide the floor spacing and defensive versatility that Dallas desperately needed. Doncic and Irving will create open looks for him all game long, and together they would make another run at an NBA title. But here's what's absolutely fascinating about this entire situation, and this is where the story takes a turn that nobody could have predicted. Thompson chose Dallas over Los Angeles, accepting less money per year and one fewer year of security. Because he believed the Mavericks gave him the best chance to compete for a championship, he wanted to play with Luka Doncic. He wanted to be part of that dynamic offensive system. He wanted to chase ring number 5 with a team that had just proven they could reach the finals. That was his calculated decision, and at the time, you couldn't really argue with the logic. Fast forward to now, and the irony is almost too perfect to believe. Luka Doncic is no longer a Dallas Maverick. In one of the most shocking trades in recent NBA history, Doncic was dealt to the Los Angeles Lakers, the very team that Thompson turned down just months earlier. Think about that for a moment. Thompson left money on the table, passed on playing for his father's franchise, and chose Dallas specifically because of Luka Doncic. And now, less than a year later, Doncic is in Los Angeles, playing alongside Anthony Davis, forming what many believe could be the most dominant duo in the Western Conference. If Thompson had simply accepted the Lakers' offer, he would be running the floor with Doncic right now, getting open looks from one of the greatest playmakers in the world, competing for a championship with a Lakers team that's off to a phenomenal start this season. The cruel twist of fate doesn't end there. Remember how I mentioned that part of Thompson's frustration with Golden State involved discussions about him potentially coming off the bench? Well, guess what's happening in Dallas right now? The Mavericks have struggled to start this. Their chemistry hasn't been what they hoped, and there have been whispers about rotational changes, including the possibility of Thompson moving to a bench role. The very scenario he wanted to avoid by leaving Golden State is now staring him in the face with his new team. Meanwhile, if he were with the Lakers, he'd be starting alongside Doncic and Davis, playing major minutes in a system that would maximize his strengths. Let's talk about what Thompson would have meant for this Lakers team, because it's important to understand just how perfect the fit would have been. Our current roster is built around Luka Doncic's playmaking and Anthony Davis's two-way dominance. We have Austin Reeves emerging as a legitimate third option. We have role players who understand their assignments, and we have a defensive identity that's been surprisingly strong. But what we still need, what we've needed for years, is elite three-point shooting from the wing position. Thompson would have provided that immediately. His ability to catch and shoot, to move without the ball, to space the floor and punish defenses for helping off him would have been transformative for our offense. Defensively, Thompson may not be the same player he was before his injury, but he still understands positioning. He still has the size and strength to guard multiple positions. And he still brings that championship pedigree that impacts winning in ways that don't always show up in the box score. Pairing him with Doncic and Davis would have created matchup nightmares for opposing teams. How do you defend a pick and roll with Doncic and Davis when Thompson is spotting up in the corner? How do you help off Thompson to provide extra support when he's one of the greatest shooters of all time? The offensive possibilities would have been endless. And let's not forget about LeBron James, who hasn't suited up yet this season, but is nearing his return to the court. Imagine a closing lineup of LeBron, Doncic, Thompson, Reeves, and Davis. That's 3 Hall of Fame level players. One of the best young guards in the league, and one of the most dominant big men in basketball. That's a lineup that could compete with anyone in the NBA. A lineup that would strike fear into opponents. A lineup that would make the Lakers immediate favorites to win the Western Conference. Lakers are currently off to a strong start this season, and a lot of that success is due to Luka Doncic's brilliance. He's averaging over 30 points per game. He's facilitating at an elite level. He's developed incredible chemistry with Davis, and he's embraced the pressure and expectations that come with playing for the Lakers. Doncic recently made comments about how the team can't wait for LeBron to return, how they're excited to see what this group can accomplish when fully healthy, and how special this season could be. Those comments have Lakers Nation buzzing with anticipation. And rightfully so, Doc, but imagine if Klay Thompson were part of that equation. Imagine if he had made the decision to come to Los Angeles instead of Dallas. We'd be talking about one of the deepest, most talented rosters in the entire league. We'd be discussing legitimate championship odds, not just playoff hopes. We'd be watching Thompson drain 3 after 3, while Doncic orchestrates the offense and Davis dominates the paint. That was the vision. That was the possibility. And it was all there for the taking last summer. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not here to bash Klay Thompson or to criticize his decision-making. He made what he thought was the best choice for his career at that moment in time. Nobody could have predicted that Luka Doncic would be traded to the Lakers less than a year later. Nobody could have foreseen how the Mavericks would struggle or how the Lakers would thrive. Thompson made a basketball decision based on the information available to him. And you can't fault a player for trying to put himself in the best position to win. That's what competitors do. But the irony of this situation is undeniable. And it's a reminder of how quickly things can change in the NBA. One trade, one decision, one unforeseen circumstance can completely alter the trajectory of a franchise and a player's career. Thompson chose Dallas over Los Angeles because of Luka Doncic, and now Doncic is thriving with the Lakers while Thompson is facing uncertainty with the Mavericks. It's one of those sports stories that you couldn't make up if you tried. Looking ahead, I'm incredibly optimistic about where this Lakers team is headed. Even without Thompson, we're competing at a high level. We're developing chemistry, and we're showing that we can hang with anyone in the league. When LeBron returns, when we get fully healthy, when everything clicks together, this team has the potential to do something special. Would adding Thompson have made us even better? Absolutely. But we're building something significant with the pieces we have. And that's what matters most. The Western Conference is wide open this season. The Warriors are retooling. The Suns are trying to figure out their identity. The Nuggets are dealing with roster changes, and the Clippers are navigating their own challenges. The Lakers, with Doncic leading the charge and Davis playing at an all-NBA level, are positioned to make a serious run. Every game matters, every win builds confidence, and every day that passes brings us closer to seeing this team at full strength. So here's what I want to know from you, Lakers Nation. Do you think Klay Thompson regrets his decision to sign with Dallas over Los Angeles? Would you still want the Lakers to pursue him if he became available again? How do you think he would fit alongside Doncic, LeBron, and Davis in our system? And more importantly, do you believe this current Lakers roster, as constructed, has what it takes to win a championship this season? I want to hear all. Your thoughts, your opinions, your predictions for how this season unfolds. Drop your comments below, and let's have a real conversation about the present and future of our Lakers. Before I let you go, make sure you're subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of our content. We're bringing you daily updates, breaking news as it happens, in-depth analysis that you won't find anywhere else, and the most passionate Lakers coverage on YouTube. This is your community. This is your home for everything purple and gold, and we're building something special together. Share this video with your fellow Lakers fans. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, and let's keep growing this family. We're on this championship journey together, and I couldn't be more excited about where we're headed. Go Lakers!